Hi everyone! This is Teacher Claire and welcome back sa atoang discussions on grade 8 mathematics na topics. So for today, ang atoang i-discuss is all about the graph of linear functions. So nahimo ni siyang series sa ako ang channel. If you want to review on the previous two videos, you can search my YouTube channel. Tanawon lang ninyo dito. The first video was all about the domain and range of functions, and then the second video was all about linear functions. So, muna ni siyang ika-third video ani na series. And I will still have to make the fourth one, which is solving problems involving linear functions. So, let's begin with our discussion on graph of linear functions. So, the graphs of linear functions is a very easy topic, labi na kung nakasabot ka unsaon pag-graph ang linear algebraic expressions. Kay, this is essentially the same lesson. Only that instead of referring to it as linear algebraic expressions, we are referring to it now as linear functions. So, the graph of a linear function is a straight line. Obviously, from the word linear, so line, yun diyang graph. The graph can be drawn if the following are given. Any of the following are given. So the first one, if you are given any 2 points, you can graph a linear function. The second one, if you are given the x and the y intercepts, you can graph a linear function. The third one is if you are given the slope and any point, you can graph a linear function. And finally, if you are given the slope and the y intercept. So again, this is a very familiar topic kay na-discuss naman ni nato sa tuang previous lessons. So let's go right ahead in solving or in graphing rather some examples para ani na topic. So we will be using, for this entire video, we will be using the function f of x is equal to x plus 2. Only that, ato ni siyang i-graph in different methods. So, the first method we have here is we have to graph it using 2 points. So, how do we do that? Okay, if you recall in graphing, it is very important that you will know or that you should know how to create a table of values. So, sa table of values na to, you can do it in any way. Pwede horizontal, pwede vertical. I just like to show my table of values in the horizontal format. Okay, para nako masayon. Okay, so for the table of values, we will have here the x and then we will also have the y. So we can graph this linear function, mangita lang ta og 2 points, any 2 given points. So how do we do that? Okay, so we will assign a value for the x and then we will solve for the value of y given that x value. Okay, let's say for example, ang ganahan akong i-assign na mga values ani if I am making a table of value, personally I would choose 3 points na kanang sayon ra pwede ra nako ma-mental math, and that is usually -1, 0, and 1. Mangutana mo nganong 3 points man or 3 values man ang imong pangitaon na 2 points ra may gipangita. Okay, the third value para ana to me will serve as a check kung nakapurma ba gid kog line or wa. Kay if na ang third point niya dili siya musud sa line or sa na-form na line sa other 2 points, meaning sayop ang akong solusyon. I have to do it all over again. It is easier to have the third point as your testing point para dali ra nimo makita na sayop ba kagwa, rather than to find out na sayop di ay ang imuhang graph later on na human nag-check ang maestra. Okay, but for the sake of this example, since it is only asking for 2 points, duha lang ka point ang atong pangitaon. Okay, let's assign any value for x. So let's say x here is -1 and 1. Pangitaon na to, pilay value ni y kung ang value ni x kay -1. Okay, so if we have f of -1 sa atong function, ang atong function mahimo na siyang -1 plus 2, or that is simply equal to 1. we now have our first set of ordered pairs. Okay? This time, what if x, uh, for a while, what if x is equal to 1? So if our function is f of 1, is equal to x plus 2, so our function will become 1 plus 2, or f of 1 is simply equal to 3. We now have our second point. So if ato na siyang isulat ang duha ka points into an ordered pair, we will have something like this. For the first pair of points, we will have negative 1, 1. For the second pair of points, we will have 1, 3. So now, we can graph the function. Kaya na tayo duha ka book points. So, negative 1, 1. So, sa x-axis daw, na siya sa negative 1. Sa y-axis na siya sa 1. So, na siya dire. For the second point, we have 1, 3. So, iyang x-axis 1, iyang y-axis, kay na daw sa 3. Na dire. We will just connect those two points and create a line. We should not forget to always use the arrowhead, which signifies that that line will still mupadayon pa na siya infinitely. Okay, tungod sa arrowhead. So, that is the graph of our function f of x is equal to x plus 2. Okay, now let's see if makakuha ba ta aning same na graph gamit ang lain na mga methods. Okay. Okay, so this time, instead of using 2 points to graph the linear function, let us try to use the x and y intercept. So if you can see here, parehara gyapon na function atong gigamit. F of x is equal to x plus 2. So dapat makakuha ta ani og the same na graph sa atong gigraph previously. Okay, so using the x and y intercepts, how do we do that? Parehara gihapon sa paghimo nato og table of values. Only this time, ang atong ilisan, atong i-give na value for x is 0. Yeah, instead of si x lang gihapon atong hatagan og another value, atong hatagan og value si y. So, sa may pasabot na ko, ana, kalibog ba ato? Okay, let's try to draw our table of values para dali ninyo makita. So, again, mo ni ang ato ang x, mo ni atong y. So, para makakuha ta sa x ug y intercept, hatag lang tag value na 0 para ni x ug value na 0 para ni y. Then, ato lang gihapon i-solve. So, how do we do that? For the x, sayon na siya. F of x, or f of 0 rather, that becomes 0 plus 2, or simply 2. Pwede na gali siya ma-mental math, di ba? Okay, for y, if you recall, kani siya na symbol na, function symbol na f of x, this is just equivalent to y. Di ba? Sa atong previous lesson. So, kung si y daw kay 0, this will become 0 is equal to x plus 2. Okay? And if we simplify that, that will become negative 2 is equal to x. So, if 0 si y, atohang x is negative 2. Now, let us try to plot these 2 points. So, ang atoang first point na atay coordinate na 0, 2. For our second point na atay coordinate na negative 2, 0. So, let's try to graph. So, 0, 2, we can locate that here. For the other point, negative 2, 0, we can locate that here. And we will just connect both of the points to create our graph. So, if you can see, pareha ra gyud siya sa graph na atong gihimo ganina. So, it doesn't matter what method you use. Nara nimo unsay masayo na method para nimo, you will still get the same graph. Okay, let's go to the third method na atong i-discuss today. For the third and final method, again, parihara gihapon, we will still be using the function f of x is equal to x plus 2. Only this time, ato siyang i-graph using the slope and the y-intercept. For the given example, sayo na lang na to siya i-graph. Kay, using the slope and the y-intercept, nanam siya sa slope-intercept form, ang ato ang function. So, if we have this in slope-intercept form, di ba? F of x is just equal to y. This is just, if you rewrite that, that will just be y is equal to x plus 2, where our slope is positive 1 and our y-intercept is positive 2. So, since ang ato ang slope is positive 1, obviously, na ay imaginary denominator ang whole number. So, essentially, ang rise o run ani niya is just 1 over 1. So, let's try to plot that. So, naatay y-intercept na positive 2. So, ato na siyang pangitaon sa y-axis. Na siya dire. And na siya slope na positive 1, 1. So, isa ka saka, then isa ka dagan padong sa right. So, our next point is located here. And we will again connect those 2 points and create our graph. Dili na to kalimtan ang arrowheads. And as you can see, pariha red should na graph ang atong nakuha. So, it doesn't matter unsa na graphing method ang imuhang gamiton, use what is comfortable for you or easier for you to use, you will still have the same graph. Just remember that a linear function will always have a graph that is a straight line. Pwede na siya line na pabali na sad, decreasing. Pwede na siya og line na mas steep siya. It doesn't matter as long as it is a straight line that is a graph of a linear function. Okay, so I hope that you learned something today in our topic. This is just a very short video. And for the next video, I will be discussing about how to solve problems involving linear functions. So, I hope namin nakatunan. Happy studying. Goodbye.